You're joking, aren't you? It's the Teesside Chef.
Panko breadcrumbs, the crispiest, crunchiest coating ever. And if you don't believe me, listen to this. I coated some chicken there in this fantastic breadcrumb coating, and I'll be showing you that later. But first, we have to make it, don't we? And it is very simple, if a little time-consuming, because all we need is a loaf of sliced white bread and lots of patience. And I just can't resist having a little play with my bread here, because I'm a bit immature, and maybe I wasn't given enough attention or toys as a child. But I won't waste too much of your time doing this, because I'm leaving the bread out now overnight to dry out a little. And I guess you can skip that stage if you're in a hurry. And panko is traditionally made from bread that has been baked without a crust. The bread is cooked with electrical current in large steel boxes, apparently, and that sounds far too complicated for me to achieve, so I'll just cut the crusts off this white bread here, and that will save me all sorts of bother. And you might think this is a little bit wasteful, but don't worry, because I'm going to put all of these cut crusts in a bag, and I'm going to save them for the birds or the kids or whatever. Before preparing to grind this white and now crustless bread, you could throw the bread in a normal food processor, but I like to use the grating attachment for my food processor here to get the typical shards of breadcrumbs that help give panko its unique qualities, and I very rarely use this grating attachment because it's a bit of a pain, but for panko it is the best option, and I don't want to get any of my skin in there as well, so I'm going to use this attachment here to help to push the bread in, and it's all worked out lovely in the end. And let me just show you the texture of this pre-baked panko there, and you can see the shards and uneven shapes. And that is much better than blitzing the whole thing to a fine powder. So now we need to bake it, of course, to dry it out and crisp it up, and that's really all we want to do. We definitely do not want to brown the panko at all. So I spread the breadcrumbs out evenly. I've already set my oven to 125 degrees Celsius with the fan on. That's a little less than 260 Fahrenheit. I'm going to bake it for around 10 minutes at that temperature before taking it out to release the steam and give it a good stir, and I'm paying particular attention when I stir this to the sides to bring them into the middle as they dry out first, and then I'll put it back in the oven for another 10 minutes and repeat the steam releasing and stirring process again before putting it in the oven for a third time for 10 minutes, and then after the third bake I'm going to turn the oven off and let them dry out in there and let them cool down fully. And here is a nice close-up of the finished panko, and as you can see it has retained the white colour. And if you want to get technical, the Maillard reaction that browns the bread will start at around 130 degrees, which is why our oven temperature of 125 was so important, you see. That's what ours on the internet told me anyway. And if I take a big piece here and crush it, you can see it just turns to dust, and I'm not even that strong. But the fragility of the finished panko means that it's much better to store in a glass jar rather than a plastic bag, as we're protecting the delicate baked crumbs much better this way. Keep this in a plastic bag, and a large proportion of it will turn to dust in the bottom of your bag, I'm afraid. And to show you just how it looks in action, I'll quickly throw some seasoned chicken in some beaten egg and cover with the panko. Tell you what, I'll double dip this. The panko will hold less oil than other breadcrumbs when fried, and not only will it be healthier, but it'll also make for a crispier, lighter coating. And when you're using panko to coat your meat or your vegetables or whatever it is you're frying, it's best to deep fry, because shallow frying just won't achieve the same level of crispiness and crunchiness that you're looking for. And this chicken only needed a few minutes in the pan there, and there's a close-up of the golden colour, and listen to that crunch again. Next level crispy fried food with homemade panko, and the only thing you have to worry about is your waistline. Thanks for watching, everyone. Ta-ra.